Hi all, this is Allmighty and welcome to this video. So today I decided to share a game with you between Vladimir Kramnik and Wesley So. It is a game from a Grand Chess Tour played now in Paris, France. So as you all know, there was a Grand Chess Tour tournament also in Leuven in Belgium, but that one ended and of course Wesley was the winner. So even though Magnus is the reigning Blitz champion and Anand is the reigning Rapid champion, Wesley is really killing it in this tournament. So winning the one in Leuven at the moment after 7 rounds, having 5 out of 7, he is in first place here in Paris. Also winning the Altibox Blitz tournament, he is really kicking it, I would say. So, paying tribute to Wesley in this video, let's just show you a game he played against Vladimir Kramnik. So Kramnik is with white pieces, he starts with c4, pretty standard for him, and Wesley replies with g6. Knight to c3 and now c5. Wesley is feeling good, feeling confident, and even confident enough that he wants to go for a symmetrical variation. As we all know, a pretty drawish variation of the English, maybe a minor advantage for white, but not much to see here. Are we in store for a pretty boring game? Yeah, but let's just see for a moment. g3 played by Kramnik, bishop to g7 and bishop to g2. Now knight to c6, e3 and e6. As you can see, all things symmetrical. And now the usual idea is knight from g to e2, also for black, go castles for both, and then they battle it out in the center, playing d4 and d5. But as I said, pretty much symmetrical stuff, a minor advantage for white because he is kind of having that one extra tempo, being the first on the move. But Kramnik is the first one to bow to the pressure of the symmetrical position, starting with b3. And b3 isn't a usual move that you would play in this variation, but Kramnik wants to go for a different idea. Here Wesley just continues with the plan, the usual plan, and we see bishop to a3. And bishop to a3 attacks the pawn, so b6 defends it quite easily, knight g to e2, and now we see d5. Having the chance to actually go first at the center as black, Wesley does use it. So here at the moment, nothing has changed. We will see a series of exchanges, so pawn captures on d5 and pawn captures on d5. Now Kramnik also goes for d4. For striking the center, you don't want to allow black to actually push d4. Pawn captures and knight captures. Knight captures and pawn captures, and after all this, we see that both of the players are defending their central pawns and also attacking the opponent's pawns. So still, there is something to see here. But first, Wesley starts with bishop to a6, which is an excellent move. A move that, just for a moment, doesn't allow white to castle. And if you want to go about castling, you should exchange the light square bishop. So Kramnik does just that. Bishop to f1, he is forced, otherwise having the e-file open, it could be pretty dangerous to have a king in the center. Bishop captures on f1 and king captures on f1, so after king to g2, white is fine here and all is looking good. But Wesley does castle the proper way and we see rook to c1, putting rooks on open files, rook to c8, king to g2, rook to e8 and rook to e1. Both of the players finished their development and the position is, I would say, equal. Now we will see how to proceed with this position. So knight to f5, an excellent square for the knight, keeping extra pressure for that pawn. And now, can you go about capturing this rook? Rook captures on e8, queen captures on e8, and then knight to d5. Seems like a pawn. But after rook captures on c1 and queen captures on c1, you do have a knight captures on d4, and okay, here you can capture the pawn, recapture the pawn, and this is a dead draw, I would say. Not much that you can do with all of these pieces, but the interesting thing is you have to see that here queen to e4 isn't all that good, because after king to g1 you cannot capture the knight, because there is this queen to c8 check, bishop has to cover, and there is checkmate with queen to f8. So have to be extra careful with that one. If there is so this bishop to a3 is a nice idea after all, keeping the threats in the game. But here Kramnik doesn't go for it, of course, and he plays queen to f3. Having the pressure on the d4 pawn by black, he wants to pressure the d5 pawn himself. So rook captures on e1 and rook captures on e1. And now we see knight to d4 attacking the queen. And Kramnik sees the best move, which is queen captures on d5. he is not afraid to capture the pawn. The rook cannot capture because he's leaving the defense of the queen, and at the same time, if you capture with the queen, then knight is coming to d5, and knight to e7 is a very good move for white. So Wesley doesn't want to allow that, and after queen to d5 he plays knight to c2, seemingly an excellent move, which solves the game for Wesley quite easily, because you're attacking the rook, you're attacking the undefended bishop, and what will you do here? If you go about exchanging the queens, then rook will just capture and still your pieces are attacked. But here Kramnik once again finds the best move in the position, which is rook to d1, and even though your bishop is attacked, your knight is attacked, the thing is, white is completely fine in this position. And the main reason is you cannot go about capturing either of these pieces, because you will just lose the rook. After queen captures, rook recaptures, and rook captures. But the other thing is, if queen captures, there is this knight to d5, and still you cannot capture the bishop because of knight to e7. So everything is held in place, and yeah, white is quite fine here. The position is still equal. So Wesley after this plays queen to e8, which is the absolute best move. So Wesley is really showing quite a good set of skills here, playing the rapid and the blitz chess. Now knight to b5. Okay, moving the knight out of the danger, and also at the same time defending this bishop. So all problem solved, but not really, because here queen to e2 is coming. So that was the idea behind queen to e2. You had to move the knight, queen is now coming here, and knight to e3 is a big threat, forking the king, the queen, and the rook. And Kramnik now finally falls under pressure, plays bishop to c1. But this gives Wesley a very nice chance to go for this idea, bishop to f8. And bishop to f8 is just a move that you have to make. The main reason is if you want to play rook to c5, which for a moment would seem like a move that wins the game, attacking the queen and the knight, but there is this queen to d8, and after bishop here, bishop to h6 simply loses it for black. So you have to prepare it, and this is why bishop to f8 is played first. Now knight to a7, attacking the rook and capturing the pawn, but rook to c5. Now the queen is attacked, you have to play it on f3, only move, and now knight to e1. You have to capture the knight, because otherwise you lose the queen. Queen captures, and Wesley has finally won some material. So he won the exchange, the bishop is attacked, so bishop to e3. Rook to f5, attacking the queen, and queen to a8. Now queen to a5, defending the pawn, and a4, white defends the pawn of his own. Rook to e5. And now the thing is, okay, black, so Wesley is here in a better position. He has the exchange, he is a pawn down, but quite clearly he will either go about attacking with h5, queen to b4, going for picking up this pawn. It isn't like white does have something here. Bishop to h6 is met by queen to b4, defending that bishop. He will go about exchanging the queens, and this would be pretty much it. But like in life, in football and in chess, people make mistakes, and I cannot describe how happy I was yesterday after watching Croatia just beat Argentina 3-0. It was I would say personally and honestly one of the happiest things in my life. I really enjoyed that game, and it was just crazy good. But yeah, people make mistakes. Argentinian goalkeeper Caballero just made a mistake. You know, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some, but in the end you just have to just keep on going. It is human to make mistakes, and this is like after yesterday I decided to, as always, after some football, go back to some chess, and started going through the Grand Chess Tour, amazing games. I saw this game and decided, it kind of reminds me of the thing that happened yesterday with that mistake on the first goal. So I decided to share it with you. So here, Kramnik, being in a lost position but still a playable position, decides to go for something, and he just blunders the game away. He plays knight to c6. And as you can see quite clearly, the queen is hanging and you can just capture the queen, and even then knight cannot capture the rook because it is pinned for the king. So, and yeah, just a terrible blunder made by a player who has a rating over 2700, probably here in Rapid even over 2800. So the former world champion can make a mistake like that. Anybody can make a mistake, but it is important to move on and just, yeah, you will win the next one. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this video. Wesley, nevertheless, it isn't just winning by this kinds of blunders. He is playing a very good chess, and I would like to wish him a very good luck. Maybe he wins also the Grand Chess Tour tournament in Paris as well. Okay, so yeah, that is pretty much it. That being said, I would like to thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.